Hi everyone, Reverend Beth Simmons here with, wait for it, a midweek moment. We've taken a little hiatus, a little sabbatical from midweek moments, but I am feeling the nudge, the call, the pull to return to them. So here we are. It is a new month and time to start these back up again, I think. So today is October 2nd. I'm filming this. Whether it actually gets up on that day, we'll see. We've been having internet issues in my house and everything's slow. But anyway, here it is, October 2nd. And so I want to mention two things. First, today is my 3rd anniversary of my call to the Hancock Congregational Church in New Hampshire. So I am just grateful for the movement of the Spirit that drew me to this place, that things worked out the way they did, so that I could be ministering in the community in which I live, and that this congregation and I found each other because we fit each other. We work with each other, and it's great. Anyway, so offering gratitude today for 3 years of ministry together, and looking forward to many more. Also, this Sunday, the first Sunday in October, is World Communion Sunday. If you've never heard of World Communion Sunday, that's okay. It is, oddly enough, despite the name, a fairly American celebration, and even then, widely in the mainline Protestant churches, but not even everybody. But it was interesting to me. I did a little research on the history of this celebration. And the first World Communion Sunday was celebrated in 1933. So it was conceived by a Presbyterian minister in, I think it was California. We'll say California. And anyway, but imagine it's 1933. The Depression is happening. There is a rise internationally of nationalism and fascism and division. There is a whole lot of uncertainty. And the country, we as a country and as a world are heading, though we don't quite know it yet, directly into World War II. You know, after the war to end all wars, right, which had happened 15 years ago or so, World War I, which became World War I because we had a second one. So we can perhaps imagine a little bit how people in the pews in which we sit today were feeling in 1933. And so this pastor decided that we needed something to remind folks that the table of the Lord's Supper, the communion table, the Eucharist table, was not a table that belonged to any nation, but was a table that belonged to Jesus. And it was supposed to be promote a sense of unity, of connection between all the Christians all over the world, in nations big and small, in communities big and small, in churches big and small, that speak many languages and have different ways of worshiping and formats, and even different, denominations, that we would unite, at least on this day, in remembering through this meal that we are unified as followers of Christ. And I think perhaps we need that message today more than ever. It's hard. It's really hard. So we need to remember, very often when we share communion at our church, which is a United Church of Christ congregation, sometimes we use a printed sort of formal communion format where we go through the sort of invitation and the and sort of recitation of more traditional parts. And sometimes I just get up there and I tell the story and I say words, but very often some of the words I will say are, this is not the table of the Hancock Congregational Church. This is not the table of the United Church of Christ, but this is Christ's table, and therefore you are all invited to it. And I think perhaps we need to hear that again, that, and perhaps to add that it is not a table of the United States. It is not a table of North America. It is not a table of the Europeans, or folks descended from Europeans, but it is Christ's table. And so, wherever you are, I hope that this Sunday you attend a worship service, whether or not they are recognizing World Communion Sunday. If you celebrate communion, if you share the Lord's Supper together, if you receive the Eucharist, I hope that you will take a moment to just reflect, to consider not only the people around the world, the other Christians who are doing the same thing on that day, but just the generations before us who have been through some of the same things that we are going through, or similar things, who have had similar worries and fears and confusion and doubts and stress. And come to the table knowing that you can hand that all over to Jesus, at least for the time it takes you to partake of that meal. That you can perhaps feel that sense of strength and unity. And and just feel connected as one body through the celebration and the sharing of this meal. Because I think that's perhaps when we feel most connected to each other, is when we eat together. So that's my little summary of World Communion Sunday. We're going to do a little bit something special this Sunday. So that was my summary. I wanted to do the history as a midweek moment because we're going to do something a little different in worship. So if you are near Hancock, New Hampshire, please come and join us for our worship service. All ages stay in worship this Sunday, and it's a little bit more interactive, and it's going to be fun, and hopefully not too heretical. That'll pique your interest a little. All right, friends, be well. Take deep breaths. Remember you are not alone. And remember you are loved so much. Be well.